If you know me, then you know that I have a big issue with passwords. Because let's face it, we create online accounts all the time, within our network and outside, on the internet, apps, on our phones. Everything about us is contained in these entries. And we protect these with passwords. Now, here comes my soapbox. People are so stinking lazy when it comes to creating passwords. It drives me absolutely bonkers. As we move along, trust me, you'll understand why I'm so passionate about this particular subject. Matt Wallenweg, who created WordPress, has a great quote, and he said, "Love is great, but not as a password." Sidebar, did you know that love is one of the top 20 passwords that people use with a variation of it, like, numbers or a digit or a special character at the end? So our goal here in this phase of gaining access is to attempt to crack passwords. We don't necessarily go after the big bad administrative password right away, because the second phase, do you remember? Yeah, escalating privileges. So we first need to see if we can find a password to gain access. Now, when it comes to passwords, some of the issues that we have with them is that they can be captured either locally on a system or while they're in transit. A great example of this is like FTP. When you log in with your username and password, the default is to transmit it in clear text. And yeah, somebody's going to pick that up. A lot of people ask me, Dale, is there really a good reason for cracking passwords? Yeah, there really is. It comes with the fact that people forget their passwords on standalone systems. Now, I would never recommend cracking someone's password if you're in a domain environment, because we have the option of just simply resetting the password. But sometimes I'll get a neighbor that comes over and says, Dale, I forgot my password and I can't get in. Now, sidebar again, I usually get a lot of red flags going up in my brain when they say all of a sudden I can't get in. But we can reset local account passwords. Sometimes a disgruntled employee does something malicious in a domain environment, like lock out a password. That might be another reason for cracking. In fact, you'll hear me use the phrase cracking when we're talking about cracking passwords, because cracking's just a little cooler sounding. But when it comes to cracking and passwords, the biggest issue is that most users pick something they know. It's because they have to try to remember the password, and that's what makes it so easy. Most people will actually go through and choose a name of a sports team or maybe a superhero. No, none of my passwords are Batman related. They're all Wolverine related. They might also use locations, cities, religious names, schools they went to, swear words even. Again, they're going to pick something that's easy to remember because it means something to the user. But that's the reason why passwords are easily hacked. Most people will start off with one of these types of words and simply add a number at the ending or the beginning of the password. Usually those numbers mean something to them as well. So it's going to be like a birth year, a graduation year, anniversary. Yeah, how do we forget anniversaries when it's part of our passwords typically? But whatever the case is, that's why it's so easy to crack passwords typically. Now the issue here is twofold, because as IT administrators, we simply require people to create difficult passwords, right? But they still need to be able to somehow remember them. Otherwise, we get tickets opening up all day long. Dale, I locked myself out again. I can't remember my password. There is actually, in my opinion, a proper password policy. Typically, we're going to rely on three different things. Something you are, like biometrics, fingerprint, retinal scan, facial recognition. Something you have, like a CAT card. And something that you know, like typically a password. And we're seeing a lot of facial recognition technology come into play, and it's getting smarter and smarter all the time. Typically, you have a tablet or a laptop or even a phone. But again, it's very sophisticated. It's typically in a three-dimensional aspect, so nobody can just hold up a picture in front of a camera to log in. Now, we also have the option of using that CAT card I mentioned. You swipe it, but the downside to that is that people can steal them or clone them. which is why a password provides an additional security level. I'm a big fan of multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication, where you type in a password, then you receive a text message, or you check with an authenticator app on your cell phone and you type in a code, and hey, that's pretty thorough.